The boss lifts him up, grabs him by the head and asks, "You have the ability to resist, soon orcs will take this place, but before that will happen I will crush your head." The protagonist is horrified that informing the whoreboy takes longer than usual for other creatures. He realizes that the time of informing change goals to goals. The boss squeezes his face to kill him. Suddenly a duplication notification appears inside the owner's body. The boss is going to eat the owner's goblin, but the protagonist is completely captured. Hobra himself and completely controls the creature. He will hit his previous owner's hobgoblin. Lifts the owner without understanding what is happening around him. Before the boss lets everyone know that he is reconsidering his approach, they will work together as friends. The protagonist receives the attribute the power of sharp claws and patience. These skills are high wound and can be useful on the battlefield. Meanwhile, the goblin guard tells everyone to move as the orcs have come to their cave. The orcs threaten to leave the cave immediately since this is their land. The protagonist realizes that there is a big difference in strength between the goblin and the orcs. However, he decides to fight the orcs. This is also a great place to test the strength of his abilities. He also has a plan in case the outcome of the battle goes wrong. All the goblins are afraid of the giant orcs. It would be foolish to fight a much stronger opponent, so he feels the need to give them a pep talk. He wants to raise their spirits for the fight. He addresses them clearly and loudly. "You are all full of energy, and I need your energy to fight the orcs and protect our home." The goblin is excited as they have never heard such motivating words before. He also increases the infectious power to an infinite level to infect all the goblins to improve them stamina, skills of agility and dexterity to the maximum level. He also activates attributes. This significantly increases their strength and size. They are ready to fight. The protagonist is afraid that the goblins themselves might find it suspicious, but they are all so stupid that they cannot understand anything he is preparing for battle, so this fight will be the most serious test after reincarnation. Well, the guys who completed the last task, this time there will be no tasks. However, I hope for your support for this video with your likes and comments. But if you want to receive videos before everyone else and also receive exclusive videos that never if they don't appear on my YouTube channel, then subscribe to my boost. Link will be in the description. In this manga, the main character is reborn as a virus that is capable of subjugating the will of any living creature. This decoy is called the rebirth of a virus. I will leave a link to it in the description. Now, sit back and I'll begin. The story begins with how a strange spore falls into the deep forest, penetrates the rat's nose, and infects it. The nucleus and reputes the mutated cells. As a result, the entire carcass of the rat is reincarnated. The infected animal does not understand its surroundings due to impaired perception. However, when the rat looks at the reflection in a puddle of water, it becomes even more embarrassed when it learns that it is now a rat. Meanwhile, the plants attack and completely devour the three-legged bird in front of her. She found herself in another world, but she remembers about her laboratory research. The last thing she remembers is something about the goddess who told her that she was reincarnated by a virus, which means that she is not a rat, but a virus that simply owned the body. Deep inside, she is a scientist and finds it quite logical to believe in the goddess. She finds her current situation funny because she was the one who did many experiments with rats, and now she sees that karma has reincarnated her rat. She visualizes virus particles coming out of her body, tries to concentrate and successfully changes her perspective to a virus. Now she is in a virus state capillary tube and is afraid of white blood cells because they can kill her. Meanwhile, she watches how from the cell membrane an army of viruses comes out from many copies, and she finds herself in their control. She controls their actions since they have no free will. They react collectively and consciously in response to her orders. A pineapple icon suddenly appears on which her abilities are written. She is amazed to learn about her ability of duplication and dominance. She can control the stomach by infecting them and then take over the entire body with full power, successfully controlling the RNA of Chris and the cavalry. She also gains the abilities of danger perception, 3 cowardices. She finds it fascinating that the more creatures she infects, the more abilities she will gain. She has never seen such a remarkable evolution in one organism. Such abilities can turn a creature into a sinister creature. She begins to test her abilities on different plants. The virus affects the first plant and she acquires the skill of relieving pain and heat. However, this does not affect the next plant. Perhaps a secondary viral infection is too weak to give her access. Suddenly this plant attacks her with sharp teeth. She sees herself as weak, but her enormous abilities will help her escape from the attack. She continues to move on, thinking about what is boring researcher how she reincarnated the virus. If she continues to improve her skills, this new life can turn into a pandemic and she can conquer the world. While she brags about her abilities, she is worried about the approaching threat. She tries to escape, but the skills rub with the fact that her master is activated, which interferes in any situation. She cannot believe that she has just been reincarnated as a virus, but her first owner will die with her inside. The goddess is watching this whole scene, that she will make a virus. Remembering his past as a researcher, his colleagues avoided him while he continued to work alone all day on a new state virus. Now in a new life virus, he was absorbed inside his rat mistress. Soon after he regained consciousness, he learns that his mistress was eaten by a wolf, and he too is inside his body amid death within himself. He asks the question, will he be reincarnated into a human? But by thinking and also the tedious work that he did makes him change his mind. He is overcome with horror and he orders all his virus to infect and multiply inside the wolf. He completely infects the wolf, activating the dominance trait, which grants him many skills including rage, agility, endurance, and improved perception. Once he begins to be in full control, he begins to feel like Chris's wolf. It smells bad in the mouth but is tasty. However, this means that the virus has successfully reincarnated the entire animal. The death of its owner does not affect its survival if it continues to infect living organisms. Thus, it will remain young and alive forever. It seems fascinating to him and it immediately begins to infect other animals. Watches several animals around him, but no one dares to approach the wolf. Now his masters are wolves, stronger than his previous masters. He is bored of being an ordinary animal. There was such prey, and in his previous world now he wants to control the bodies of fantastic creatures such as goblins or dragons. He accidentally sees 3 goblins standing at some distance. They look like tiny humanoid monsters and he is amazed by what he sees. It seems that this world is connected with the fantasy world about which he read books. He decides to infect them and take control of them. Meanwhile, he hears a human dream of someone displayed with these goblins. The goblins attack a girl who looks emaciated and her clothes are torn. She does not look like an inhabitant of the modern world. On the contrary, the goblins are quite energetic. This is also a great chance to gain the abilities of a goblin and then reincarnate a human for future research. It combines the traits of a rat, wolf, agility, rage accordingly. Now his owner has the abilities of both. This makes him confident in tense situations and easy to jump. One of the goblins tries to attack the girl and the wolf rushes at him, biting him on the neck. The girl is stunned by the sight of a huge gray wolf in front of her. The second goblin goes to attack the wolf, but he dies instantly. Also receiving the ability of night vision and short-term anger, infecting him with the third goblin is scared and tries to run away. The protagonist decides to steal his abilities since the running goblin can be dangerous for other people. He throws viral parts from the nostrils onto the goblin and they instantly infect him. The protagonist receives a special ability, agility, and now he can perform tasks more experienced. He approaches a girl who seems scared of him. She looks wounded. He begins to think that the infection can help collect information about this new world. This world may be advanced in scientific knowledge that will allow him to learn about himself. The girl asks why the wolf doesn't kill her. Protagonist is still thinking about it. He decides to first gather more information about the world before infecting. Her girlfriend suddenly begins to treat the wolf like a pet since it seems that the wolf saved her tin and now he seems safe to her. She hugs the wolf and the protagonist instantly jumps away, considering her an useless traveler, too talkative. She read some books on martial arts called swordsmanship, however she lacks skills for adventures. She tells him about her love for oral food. Protagonist thinking that she is in the body of a wolf, so why is she talking about animals? So he has no way to say that you are the answer. He wonders if people in this world are the same as her. In the end, she told me something important. She is a traveler, because what the protagonist remembers about real travelers is that they kill dangerous monsters to collect medicinal traffic. She thinks about herself. What is this lonely girl doing here? Soon she realizes that she is bored of being a wolf and introduces herself as Elena. She understands that she is not at all talented at traveling, because even low rank goblins can effectively defeat her. She is too weak to fight them, but she wants to become strong. The protagonist sees in this as an excellent opportunity to strengthen your viral abilities, but on the contrary, here alone because the Guild of Travelers ignores her. She didn't talk to anyone. the girl for some reason excitedly kisses the wolf, considering him as her first partner. The protagonist jumps away again. He is surprised by her closeness. Such closeness is unusual for him. If this happened to him in the previous world, this could cause a criminal case against him. Alice decides to go home because it becomes dangerous to walk in the jungle. After sunset, the protagonist wants to find out where she lives, so he goes home with her. She really likes to watch how he himself walks away from her. Along the way she talks about a small village where she used to be a farmer. They lived happily, but one day goblins attacked their land. No one died, but they destroyed her village to ashes and they had to move to a new place. This disaster made her become strong, and since then she began planning to become an adventurer and protector of his new city. The protagonist realizes that the same goal once occupied him. When he created a cure for his people in the previous world, his hard work at work led to him withdrawing from society. Elena's ambition impresses him with her. Faced the same problem as she remains firm, he was unable to do it. Over time they reach her city. Lena here in a big city. The protagonist has never seen such a developed city before. In his previous life he thinks about infecting all the people in the city. Meanwhile she wants to invite him inside, but the protagonist knows that everyone will be afraid of a monster like him. She goes to the city, said that she will meet him someday. The protagonist thinks that they can meet if she goes on an adventure. He hasn't talked to anyone for a long time, so the idea of becoming an adventurer comes into his head. This way he can travel, communicate with different people and improve his skills by infecting them. He realized that the problem is in choosing a host. He needs to choose an outstanding one. Of course he can't choose because she is trying to protect her family. The anonymous body of a corpse could be suitable, but he doesn't know will it be able to leave. At this time he sees a group of Capino, and he plans to enter the city posing as a human. First he needs to take the form of a goblin. However, this is not so easy since there are 5 of them united like a clan. When it tries to infect them, one of them is already infected. He remembers that he infected him while protecting Alice, and this is the same goblin who escaped. His virus may still control him, and now he must learn more about taking control. He took over the body of the wolf when he was eaten by the owner. However, he wants to avoid a similar unpleasant experience. This time he cannot let the goblins eat the face, and his plan needs correction. He begins to reflect that he used to change his perception to another living being, focusing more on each virus a part of himself. He only needs to increase the attention of the tilts inside that goblin. He concentrates completely on switching his perspective and finally changing his point. Vision accumulated. Infected. The goblin is scared because everyone around is looking at him with disbelief. He asks them if they didn't make a mistake. One of the goblins tells him to just give him the bag he is holding. The protagonist, how do they understand their language? Perhaps because he completely controls the brain of his owner. The group also has wives. She gives him something to eat which can calm his mind. After that he looks at the wolf, control over which he just left. His absolute consciousness seems to return. The wolf looks at the goblin as prey. He tries to run away, however the protagonist finds it difficult to run with the goblin's legs, so he activates his skills, stamina and agility to climb high in the mountains. They all try to show off their frequent escapes, but in fact the protagonist's trait allows them to move quickly in his sight. They must honor his artificial abilities. After a while they head towards their home, and the protagonists also follow them to escape any eccentricity. They use a cave to live in which is guarded by 2 goblins. They are all in different states. Most of them are hungry and wear underpants. After entering they begin to start their boss, Hobgoblin, who is angry since they came late. He is a human-like creature the size of a human. His name is Hobra, and himself they beg him about Pacha because the orcs stole their food and now they didn't bring anything special. Hobby, the goblins were hungry so they ordered them to attack the human village. They begged that they were weak and could not defeat the people. Hobby the goblin hit 2 goblins hard and throws them away. He is hungry and irritated. The protagonist yells at him to find his own food. He calls him a lazy, spoiled child. The boss approaches him with anger in his mind. The boss acts according to the plan, intends to infect the boss with his infected breath. When the hawk goblin comes close he receives a message about the fact that viral resistance has been detected. In addition, his viral particles require more time to inform. The protagonist does not realize that viral resistance can occur before some species. The boss lifts him up, grabs him by the head and asks, you have the ability to resist. Soon orcs will take this place, but before that will happen I will crush your head. The protagonist is horrified that informing the Horboy takes longer than usual for other creatures. He realizes that the time of informing change goals to goals. The boss squeezes his face to kill him. Suddenly a duplication notification Appears inside the owner's body. The boss is going to eat the owner's goblin, but the protagonist is completely captured. Hobra himself and completely controls the creature. He will hit his previous owner's hobgoblin. Lifts the owner without understanding what is happening around him. Before the boss lets everyone know that he is reconsidering his approach, they will work together as friends. The protagonist receives the attribute the power of sharp claws and patience. These skills are high wound and can be useful on the battlefield. Meanwhile, the goblin guard tells everyone to move as the orcs have come to their cave. The orcs threaten to leave the cave immediately since this is their land. The protagonist realizes that there is a big difference in strength between the goblin and the orcs. However, he decides to fight the orcs. This is also a great place to test the strength of his abilities. He also has a plan in case the outcome of the battle goes wrong. All the goblins are afraid of the giant orcs. It would be foolish to fight a much stronger opponent, so he feels the need to give them a pep talk. He wants to raise their spirits for the fight. He addresses them clearly and loudly. You are all full of energy, and I need your energy to fight the orcs and protect our home. The goblin is excited as they have never heard such motivating words before. He also increases the infectious power to an infinite level to infect all the goblins to improve them stamina skills of agility and dexterity to the maximum level. He also activates attributes. This significantly increases their strength and size. They are ready to fight. The protagonist is afraid that the goblins themselves might find it suspicious, but they are all so stupid that they cannot understand anything he is preparing for battle. So this fight will be the most serious test after reincarnation. Well, the guys who completed the last task. This time there will be no tasks. However, I hope for your support for this video with your likes and comments. But if you want to receive videos before everyone else and also receive exclusive videos that never if they don't appear on my YouTube channel, then subscribe to my boost. Link will be in the description.